Okay guys, we're back. Let's finish this off. We are now working on numbers 30 through 40, and they're all about multiplication and division of rational expressions. This is all that stuff from chapter 7 that I'm kind of putting in here for you. All right, so it should still be pretty clear in your mind. But let's just go over it anyway. So the instructions say to simplify each expression. Let's take a look at number 30. Excuse me. Now remember, the first thing you want to do for any of this is factor. Factor to see what you can cancel out. Okay? One of the nice things about this one, as opposed to what I had you do previously, is that I'm not asking you for the excluded values. So you don't have to worry about which value is excluded or not. I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway, but on the actual test, it's multiple choice, and you just have to show me the expression in simplest form. Okay? So we cannot do any factoring for m plus 5. We can't do any factoring for m plus 3. We can't do any factoring for 4, but we can factor here and pull out a 4, and we'll be left with m plus 4. And in this case, the only thing that cancels is the constant. So that doesn't affect our exclusions at all. So we're left with m plus 5 over m plus 3, m plus 4. That was really easy, right? Let's take a look at number 31. Here we have 2x squared over 6x, and we're multiplying by 35x minus 15 over 14x to the third minus 6x squared. All right. So let's see, this we can leave here for now. Over here, I'm going to pull out a 5, and I'm going to be left with 7x minus 3. Yeah. And in the denominator, I'm going to pull out, I know, an x squared, and I'm going to pull out a 2, and I'll be left with 7x minus 3. Okay, so now it comes time to cancel. This is always the fun part. This 2x squared cancels with that 2x squared. Normally I would say exclusion, because I've canceled that out, that x cannot be 0. I'm going to write it anyway, but just know that on the test you're not going to need to worry about that. The other thing we will cancel is this and this. That means for exclusions, that 7x minus 3 cannot be 0. So 7x cannot be 3. X cannot be 3 over 7. So that is another exclusion. Again, you don't have to worry about it on the test. So when it all is said and done for number 31, you are left with 5 over 6x. And these are your exclusions. But once again, this will be the only answer you need to worry about. Okay? Let's do 32. Here we have 9n squared plus 90n over 9n times 3 over n plus 10. So let's go ahead and factor up here. I'm going to pull out a 9 and an n, and I'm going to be left with n plus 10. And here I have 9n, 3n plus 10. So we cancel here. That means n cannot be 0. And we cancel here. That means n cannot be negative 10. Right? It's whatever makes that 0. And for number 32, you are just left with 3. Okay, so here's your entire answer. Again, on the test, you'll only be looking for the 3. Okay, let's go to 33. Number 33. We have 9p minus 9 over p squared plus 9p minus 10 times p plus 10 over p plus 7. Let's go ahead and factor. I'm going to pull out a 9 here. I'm going to be left with p minus 1. Here I can factor this into p times p. This will be 10 times 1. The 10 is positive, the 1 is negative. Here I have p plus 10 and p plus 7. All right, time to cancel. The p plus 10s cancel. That means p cannot be negative 10. The p minus 1s cancel. That means p cannot be 1. And at the very end, for number 33, you're just left with 9 over p plus 7. Number 34. We have x minus 1 over x squared plus 3x minus 4 times 7x to the third plus 28x squared over x plus 4. All right, again, we are going to factor what we can factor. So we have x minus 1 down here. We have x and x. We have 4 and 1. Positive and negative. Here we have x plus 4. Up here, I'm going to pull out an x squared. I'm going to pull out a 7x squared. And I'm going to be left with x plus 4. And we're ready to cancel. So I can cancel x minus 1, x minus 1. That means x cannot be positive 1. I'm going to cancel an x plus 4 and an x plus 4. Please note, you only cancel pairs. Do not cancel this, this, and this. You can only cancel one from the bottom, one from the top. So this one stays there. And so that means x cannot be negative 4, which we really don't need to say because that can't be negative 4 either. And you're left with 7x squared over x plus 4. Okay? Now, starting with number 35, we're going to do division. And the only difference is that little extra step where you change the division sign to multiplication and you flip the second fraction, or in this case, rational expression. So for number 35, we have n plus 6 over n squared plus 2n minus 24. You take a look at 35. I want you to see. Normally, we would look at this and say n cannot be negative 8, and that is an exclusion. So I'm going to put that there. But again, on the test, you don't have to worry. I'm going to go ahead and flip this. This is going to be n plus 8 over 1. So now all we need to do is factor. This will be n times n. And we're going to use 6 and 4. It'll be a positive 6, negative 4. And we have n plus 8 over 1. So we're ready to cancel. That goes away. So n cannot be negative 6. And for 35, you're left with n plus 8 over n minus 4. These are very, very easy problems, guys. All right, 36. We have r squared plus 4r minus 32 over r minus 2 divided by r plus 8 over r minus 2. Again, I'm doing the exclusions because I taught them to you, so I'm going to put them here. But on the final, not a problem. So what makes this 0? That would be a positive 2. So that's an exclusion right there. R can't be positive 2. We're going to go ahead and factor here. We want to go ahead and factor 32. So 8 times 4 is 32. This will be a positive 8 because that's a positive 4, and this will be negative. We have our r minus 2 here, and we're going to flip this guy. So r minus 2 goes here, r plus 8 goes there. We're going to cancel now. This goes away, that goes away. So r cannot be negative 8. R minus 2, we already have r cannot be 2. And for 36, you're left with r minus 4. Number 37. Okay, we have 8v minus 56 over v minus 6 divided by v minus 7 over v minus 6. Again, we check here, v cannot be 6. We're ready to go ahead and make this a multiplication problem. I'm going to go ahead and flip it. And let's factor here. I'm going to pull out an 8, and you're left with v minus 7. And you're ready to cancel. So v minus 7 cancels with v minus 7. That means v cannot be 7. And v minus 6 cancels with v minus 6, which gives us that. And you are left with just 8. Too easy. Should have really made this harder. All right, number 38. N minus 2 over n plus 2 divided by n minus 2 over n squared plus 11n.
Please pardon the interruption. This is just a test on the PA system. Just a test.
This is just a test, guys. All right? We're back. Okay. So let's go ahead and factor everything first, because it's gonna, before I even make it a multiplication problem, and you'll see why in a second. This is 9 and 2 plus and plus. All right. So now we can easily see what the exclusions are. What would make this 0? N cannot be negative 2. N cannot be negative 9. That's why I did it. And now we're ready to go ahead and do this. Oops, sorry, that's n minus 2 over n plus 2. Change that to multiplication. N plus 2, n plus 9, n minus 2. So off we go and start canceling. We have an n minus 2, n minus 2. So n cannot be positive 2. That's a new one. We have the n plus 2, n plus 2. So n cannot be negative 2. And we are left with n plus 9 for number 38. And you have actually 3 exclusions. Again, you're not responsible for the exclusions, but just know that those are the ones. There's 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 2 more problems. Number 39. We have v minus 1 over 6v plus 30, and we are dividing that by 1 over v squared plus 8v plus 15. Again, this is one of those where it makes sense to factor everybody before we flip it, so we can see what the exclusions are going to be. This is 6 v plus 5. This is v 5, 3 plus and plus. So by looking at this, what would make this 0, which would make it undefined, would be -3. So it cannot be -3, and it cannot be -5. All right, now we're ready to change it to multiplication. And do our canceling. So this goes away, that goes away, which implies v cannot be -5, and we got that. And lo and behold, it looks like that's it. So we are left with v minus 1 times v plus 3 over 6 times 1, which is just 6. Okay, and drum roll, guys. We made it to number 40. If you are still with me, good job. I knew you would do it. Let's do this one, and there'll be a different video for graphing. All right, so we're dividing, and this is n plus 10 over 4n. So this one we really can see right away that what would make that 0 would be 0. So n cannot be 0. Let's go ahead and factor and then make it multiplication. So I'm going to flip this around, and let's factor here. And we have n and n. We have 8 times 10 plus, and then n minus 7. All right, so what can we take out? We can take out the n plus 7. I'm sorry, the n plus 10. N plus 10, that means n cannot be -10. And believe it or not, that's it. You're left with 4n, n plus 8 in the numerator, and n plus 7 in the denominator. See you for the next video, and we'll do the graphing part. Bye for now.